This episode of Made in America is brought to you by America's Inventor Lady and Home Talk USA. Home Talk is a proud member of the King's Broadcasting Network, which has been bringing you the best in home-based innovation since 1998.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being with us for this episode of Made in America.
This segment is brought to you by the law offices of R.P. Baraska. RPB law offices have been bringing corporate-level legal expertise to the independent inventor community for more than 20 years. For all your inventing legal needs, trust rpblawoffices.com.
Aloha, everyone, and thank you so much for being with us for this episode of Made in America. And I am so excited to be able to bring to you the products that actually are made in Hawaii. All right. Sarah Adams is with us. She is the marketing person with, okay, you just go ahead and say it, Sarah. Introduce yourself and you know, get me all those vowels going.
Oh, sure, no problem. Thanks for having me. My name is Sarah, and I work with Ali Kula Lavender in the island of Maui on Hawaii. And the lavender farm is really a hidden gem here on Maui. We're a peaceful garden where folks can stroll, take in the views, and just enjoy all things lavender in our gift shop. So the best time to see us is in the summer when we have all varieties blooming, but we actually have lavender blooming throughout the year because of our warm climate.
It was wonderful when we were there a couple of weeks ago. So the lavender farm was created by an agricultural artist and horticulture master, Ali Chang.
Yeah, that's correct, Ali Chang.
Okay. And so it is about a 13.5 acre garden. And I was absolutely amazed when I realized that there are 15 different varieties of lavender.
That's just what we have on our property. We grow roughly 15 varieties out of the nearly 200 varieties of known lavender out there.
Okay. Oh, all right. So give us a little bit of background. How are there so many varieties of lavender?
Well, lavender dates back to like the ancient Egyptian times. We're talking 5,000 years ago. This plant was noted that it was used in like perfumes and embalming, and the ancient Egyptians and the Romans actually used it prolifically. That's where the name comes from. If you go into the scientific, Lavandula officinalis, lavandula is the Latin root word of lavare or lavage, which means to wash or to cleanse. So the ancient Egyptians and the ancient Romans knew that this was a very healing and cleansing plant. We know today it's antiseptic, anti-inflammatory, all these great things. Not only does it smell good and is it healing and relaxing, but it's a great culinary herb too. So through the centuries, it's been used through many different cultures for all these different uses.
Well, you know, I always had it in my garden. I thought it was, you know, fascinating. I knew it was an herb. All right. But holy cow, when we went, all right, the tea is lovely. I've got a cup of the lavender tea that we got when we were there. The coffee is all gone. Husband drank that up right away. So, you know, but there was so many more things there. The scents, the perfumes, you know, the candles, everything. I mean, it was amazing how many things could be made with lavender.
Yes, a lot of folks don't realize. They think of, oh, you know, it smells good, or they think of their grandma's perfume or sachet, but it's so versatile. It can be used in so many different ways. And the lesser known aspect of it being a culinary herb is really exciting for us because that allows us to make lavender tea and coffee and scones. There's lavender honey and cookies and jams and jellies. It's really closely related to rosemary and mint. So it has a really wide range of culinary application.
That's wonderful. Now, you did not grow up saying, oh, I'm going to work at a lavender farm. So tell us a little bit about you. How did you get there?
Well, I was born and raised here on Maui, and I actually grew up just down the street from the Ali Kula Lavender farm. And my mom heard that we were hiring, and this was back in 2006 after I graduated from high school. So I was looking for a job between my college years, and I applied, and I've been here ever since. So that's going on 16 years now. I think I started in 2010 as a solid employment, but I had been working in the summers before then.
So the farm has a long history. It's been around a while, and it didn't start with lavender. What was, how did it get started, and then what was the transition? What motivated the change?
Yes. Well, the property itself dates back to the 1970s. The first owners grew a different kind of flower crop. It's a South African flower called the Protea. And we still have a lot of these plants here on the farm still. They're beautiful ornamental flowers that are actually prehistoric. They're really unique and otherworldly looking and very vibrant. So the Protea farm in the 70s grew all these flowers for commercial purposes. It was introduced to the islands in the 70s and the 80s. So really big crop, and it still is today. So then it switched owners, and our current owners, the Chang family, bought it in the 90s. And so our founder, Ali Chang, was given a lavender plant as a gift, as like a housewarming gift for when he moved to the property. Prior to this, he's really well known for having a botanical tropical farm and garden on the way to Hana. So he was more specialized in the like tropical exotic flowers. So coming here, his original plan was to retire and not work, but he was given this lavender plant and it just changed everything because he put it in the ground and it just thrived. And we have a dry climate up here, upcountry, and lavender is very drought tolerant. So it's very sustainable, the low water, and all of its incredibly versatile uses. He really decided to look into this more and see that it was a very viable crop and something to pursue as a business venture.
So the one of the things that I found really fascinating when we were visiting is the fact that you use or work with so many different groups in Hawaii and on the mainland. Explain some of that. How does that work?
Yes. So, we have a little bit of everything. Like we have bath and body products and our culinary line. And so what we do is we collaborate with a lot of local businesses across the island chain. In the very beginning of the Eid didn't want to like have competitive and monopolize, certain areas. It's much better to work with your neighbors and to collaborate. And so we call it a value added partnership. And so what we do is we give lavender to these already well-established businesses that are really good at what they're doing, like they're already making hand quality artisan soaps or jams and jellies, or their famous cookies, like our household name here in Hawaii, Kauai Cookie Company. A lot of locals know this brand. So we reach out and we collaborate, and it's like exclusive products. A lot of them, you can't find it elsewhere in stores, but you'll find it here in our store. And so, a lot of folks get to thrive and benefit. So by supporting our small business, you're supporting a myriad of other small businesses as well. From what we can't get made here in the islands, we do also source and partner with folks on the U.S. mainland, so the contiguous 48. So that kind of thing, we need to, look at industrial labs that have the standardized quality for like certified organic and the formulaic mixing of all the products, to have it done properly with shelf stable, so we wanted nothing but the best quality. And at the time of our inception, there was no facilities like that in the Hawaiian Islands. And there kind of isn't still to this day on that level of quality that we are after. So we also, I will add, source some third-party brands as well, besides just our local house brand of the Kula Lavender in Maui. So we just look for nothing but the best quality. We have a lot of visitors that come to us and say, hey, you know, I have my small little business. I'm already making this product. Would you be interested in carrying it? And we go, absolutely. We want nothing but the best quality products with this unifying theme of lavender under the same roof.
So you get people then that want you to carry their products and work with you, but then you provide lavender to other artisans, all right,
Mhm.
to make their product and sell then their product in their stores.
Yes, some places do carry that product as well. So like there's vendors across the island that carry our product. I will say also, like, we collaborate with the hotels. Some of the restaurants and the bars there, they'll source lavender from us, and you'll find like exclusive menu items like lavender signature cocktails or specialty desserts and stuff like that. So yeah, we work with lots of folks.
So it's wonderful. I mean, it's always exciting to see products that made right in our own backyard. It's fun to go on vacation and see them made in their backyard as well. And so we did have the pleasure and the honor of being able to meet Sarah and try some of the scones. Holy cow, they were really, really good. So we're going to be right back, everybody, after we go and pay some bills. And we're going to talk to Sarah some more about some of the products that they are offering there at the farm. So stick with us. We'll be right back.
This segment is brought to you by SearchQuest Patent Search. SearchQuest provides for a comprehensive patent search that searches the entire world and not just the U.S. Patent Office. Make sure that before you spend those big bucks having a patent written, you've done your due diligence by getting a comprehensive patent search. Use SearchQuestPatents.com for all your patent search needs. They scour the world for you.
Thank you so much for being with us for this episode of Made in America. We are so proud to be able to present to you the products that are made in America so you can go and look for them, buy them, and support American industries. So my guest right now is Sarah Adams. She is our industry expert on lavender. And we are so pleased to be able to present her today. Sarah, tell us a little bit more details about the farm and what are some of the, all right, no, let me back that up a little bit. How do you go from cutting the lavender to have it being used in a product?
Well, so we are a small farm, and all of the lavender that is grown here that we harvest, we provide to local businesses to help make our products. So I'll give a few examples. Like we'll harvest our French lavender, which is a year-round bloomer, which is actually what's behind me in my image here for my background. This is some lovely French lavender. And so we'll fresh harvest it by hand because we are a small property and we are on a slope. We're on quite a hillside. So that prevents any mechanized harvest. You know, there are large scale lavender farms that have machines that come through and harvest it, but we're very small and hands-on. So we'll get fresh bundles of the lavender and we'll give it to our scone maker, for instance, who's a local baker, Cakes by Joanne, and she will treat it how she does. I believe she dries it in her oven and processes it and grinds it small to bake into the scones. Similarly, we use the French lavender as well to make some of our artisan soaps with a local company called To Be Organics. So they are in the stores. So again, a name brand, like a household name a lot of folks are familiar with and trust these other business names that they see in the community. So our partnership is really sought after. So they make some beautiful soaps, again, taking the fresh harvest that we give to them, and they'll dry it. They actually have a still, I believe, a small distillation still that extracts the lavender oil from the flowers. So you're not necessarily using the physical dried like flower, the botanical, organic material. They'll extract the oils, and so the soaps are more unified. You don't have big chunks of it inside, Yeah, those are just two examples. Every company kind of processes it differently depending on the product. We also we do the dried lavender in-house. So like we'll make our sachets and we'll do eye pillows and stuff like that after we've harvested and dried the lavender. So our biggest season is in the summer when our biggest crop goes into bloom. I mentioned the French because it blooms year round. So we have a few products we make with that. But primarily we use English lavender, and that's our summer crop. So the best time to see us is going to be through the months of late June through early September. That's when our English lavender crop comes into bloom, and they are the most vibrant flowers that have the most oil content. And the process is very similar. You harvest it fresh, and then it's dried and either incorporated directly or extracted oil from it.
So during all of this, what has been the biggest surprise and the biggest challenge?
Well, I would say the challenge, as I mentioned, that we're like on a hillside, so everything is done by hand with no big machinery. So we do have some higher costs involved, of course, being in the middle of the Pacific Ocean in terms of shipping, as far as bringing in resources as well as sending it out. Um, we have, as I mentioned, our collaborations with businesses. I'd say the biggest surprise is how many small businesses want to collaborate with us. Our product line is so organically evolving over the years because of our relationships. So the probably biggest disappointment with that is not being able to say yes to everybody, because we're very intentional about what we carry and make sure it aligns with our values and quality standards.
Well, it's when you're going through a lot of these different phases and different steps, there's got to be some new ones that come up that say, never really thought about that. What are some of the newest ones that gave you, a bit of a challenge, but you said, let's give it a shot?
Let's see. I'd have to think, I don't know so much about challenge, just about maybe, novelty, about stuff we've had for so long. We want to kind of stir the pot and have something new and exciting be introduced rather than the same old, same old. So one of our newest partnerships is with a local Maui chocolatier, and they do lavender chocolate dipped dried like mango and dried pineapple. So that was something that we've never had before, and the response has been really exciting and really well received. A lot of folks are just looking for novelty, stuff that they've never heard of or tried before. Everybody thinks, yeah, lavender soap, lavender lotion, lavender oil, that's kind of common. So being here in Hawaii, those kind of new and intriguing things that are unique to us. Another one is lavender wine jellies. It's like a little aperitif. It's like we call it Fruit Jewels. It's a company that does basically it's like little how to say it, not like a gummy bear, but like a little gelatin bite that has fresh fruits and fresh fruit juices infused. So they make a special lavender white wine jelly. It's so little like candies, if you will, and that's really using a local white wine. So that's also really unique and something that folks are excited to try.
That sounds awesome. It's like everybody goes, when you're going, you're going to the beach and stuff. How can we help support you?
Well, we're part of sort of like a different tourist attraction, if you will. Like you mentioned, a lot of folks come to Hawaii to go to the beaches and see the tropical things and the waterfalls. But we're kind of tucked away up on the mountainside on Haleakala. So we're actually at 4,000 feet elevation, that gorgeous view that you can see. And we're part of what's called the agricultural tourism sector. So
well, we're going to talk. I need to take a break and pay some bills, but we will be right back. And I want you to continue with that thought process then of, what somebody can do when they come to see you. All right. So stick with us, everybody. We're going to be right back with Sarah and more about the lavender farm in Maui, on Maui.
If you're an inventor or you know an inventor out there who would just like to be able to have a conversation with other inventors, join the Inventors Roundtable. It's free. The meetings are virtual, so you can be anywhere in America and talk to another inventor. And for a lot of folks out there, understanding the process, being able to ask questions, getting good service provider information is critical to the inventing process. So, got questions? Want to join? It's free. inventorsroundtable.org.
And thank you for being with us for this segment of Made in America. It is an honor to be able to talk to anybody related to an American-made product. This segment is brought to you by Product Quick Start. Noah McNeely, if you've got a prototype out there that you need teed up for manufacturing in the US or internationally, he is going to find you the best options and be in charge. I've had inventors say that they think he walks on water. Noah McNeely with Product Quick Start. So my guest right now is Sarah Adams, and we're learning about all the different types of products that are sold at the lavender farm. Ali
Kula Lavender. Yes.
Kula Lavender. All right. By the next time I have you on, I will have that down, I promise. So anyway, you go out there, and what are the things that you can do besides go and have a wonderful snack at the cafe and buy products, but you can actually get a tour of the farm?
So we always tell folks to, check out the local farms, see how things are being made. As I was mentioning, we're part of a agricultural tourism sector, which is more hands-on, and it involves folks coming to farms to see how things are grown, to see where it's all coming from, and to just get a sense of the place. So when folks visit, I always recommend, bring good walking shoes, bring a light jacket. We are 4,000 feet high on the mountain. But you can tour our 13.5 acres. At this point in time, it is self-guide tours. So you can pick up a informational pamphlet at our gift shop, and it has the map of the gardens, it has the history and some backstory you can read. And, you can always chat with our gardeners as you walk through the farm, and any of our employees are happy to answer questions. But you basically get to learn, about the climate, about how the lavender is grown, and you get to see all the varieties. And besides just the lavender, I mentioned our South African Protea crop. We have all myriad of other beautiful plants and flowers and herbs growing on the property. So it's very immersive. We invite folks to come here and just offer something different, like I mentioned, off the beaten path, different from your typical Hawaiian, beach and waterfalls. So the air is really cool, and you hear bird song, and it's very peaceful and relaxing. So we want folks to just come up and relax and have some time to get away from it all, and bring a book, do some artwork. And a lot of folks come up here to just get some healing. Lavender in itself is so calming and relaxing. So it's about that immersive experience. We want everybody to feel relaxed and rejuvenated and renewed here. So besides just the mentioning of, like you said, the shop and getting a good snack, you visit our gift shop, and you can try all of our products, test the lotions and the oils, and smell everything. Real hands-on. You can order from our menu, and you get to take that out onto our deck that overlooks the gardens. And again, this beautiful view of the Valley Isle. You get ocean view, bi-coastal views of the island from where we are. So really great spot.
Well, I think it's important for people to realize that, there's a lot more to Hawaii and Maui than just the beach, the volcanoes, that there is manufacturing that goes on. What are some of the other things that get done, on the islands that most people don't even know about?
Well, we have big industry agricultural farm crops, as I mentioned, about making care. We have our, old old time crops were sugarcane and pineapple industry, and that was like of the plantation days, and that's been evolving and changing now. We are, as I understand it, more focused on grassroots and getting back to small farms and local agriculture and like native Hawaiian practices. And what I mean by that is like working with the land, working with the water, and sustainable practices. So more native Hawaiian crops and just getting back to our roots, you know. So kind of getting away from the large industry of commercialized like exports. Like I will say though, Maui is beginning with a new company in place of the old sugarcane fields that used to dominate the Valley Isle. There's a new company that is focused on agriculture growing crops for the Hawaiian Islands rather than for exporting, although we are exporting for a crop for, you know, for revenue. But what's really great is that a lot of food now is being grown for Maui and for the Hawaiian Islands, as opposed to importing, I should say. Being in the Pacific, we've some statistic I read that we import over 80% of food and resources to the islands, which is not a good thing, you know, if you're wholly dependent on that and something were to happen to your supply chain. So, there's just all sorts of small businesses coming together to be more grassroots and be more sustainable. It's really nice.
Well, it certainly makes sense. You know, this day and age is that, you know, you're right. If something happened, you do have to all of a sudden be able to take care of yourself and thrive. And that used to be the way it was.
Mm-hmm.
You know, back in the day, the islands survived on their own, and so seeing some of that happen again, and the small farms and people being encouraged to, you know, learn some of those old ways, it's you know, it's a good thing for you guys certainly, and you know, there's always, you know, the backup of being able to order from the mainland, but there's got to be a lot of satisfaction in saying, no, we grew this here.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So then, you know, as the tourist groups come in, how do they find out about you? I mean, we found out about you because I have a cousin who lives there and he said, don't forget to go here. And it's like, okay.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that. I'm finding nowadays the word of mouth is the best way that folks are hearing about us. When we first started, you know, we had to get our name out there. You know, not a lot of folks didn't know that we were here. We were starting out really small. And I understand our founder, Ali Chang, he, again, starting small, grassroots, he invited all local communities to come up, like the senior centers, to have school groups come up, to have other like Made in Hawaii local workshop folks come, and just invited folks to come up and visit the gardens. And organically, it grew through word of mouth. Of course, there's advertising involved as well. Over the years, we've put out advertising through, probably our biggest one was the Hawaiian Airlines in-flight magazine. So we had a nice little ad in there, so folks coming to the islands could see, oh, look, hey, this looks like something different, something new. We should check this out. You know, we have our name in some magazines and guidebooks, and a lot of folks over the years, like travel guides, journalists, and bloggers, that just wanted to help highlight, and they would give us a little spotlight and write an article about us. And I would say almost certainly we're spending less on advertising now than we were in the beginning. So already our name is out there, and the word of mouth is just spreading really organically. It's nice for folks
Well,
who've been here before and they say, you gotta come.
yeah, we're hoping that we can help with that. So tell everybody your website because not everybody is going to Maui this year. All right. But they can support, all right, the products by going online and buying the products. And holy cow, guys, they are really, really good. The tea, the coffee, those are my favorites. But, you know, the little scones, and you can buy them and make them yourself and say, oh, I did this myself, and really enjoy it. Impress everybody because, oh, Lordy, they smell so good. So what's the website?
Our website is There's two ways to get to us. The long way, which is a little harder, it's alikulalavender.com, ALIIKULA LAVENDR, alikulalavender.com, or to make it easier, aklmaui.com. AKL being, of course, the acronym for Ali Kula Lavender.
All right, so everybody go write this down, aklmaui.com, and go and order some today. We're going to be right back with Sarah after we go and take a break here and pay some of our own bills. So stick with us, everybody, so we can come back and wrap up the Made in America Hour with Hawaiian lavender. Yay.
Hi, this is a training pull-up for little boys, and it's a great product to use. It makes it easy for the parent and the child when learning how to potty train. The coolest part about the product is that you don't have to take the child's pants all the way down every time that they need to use the restroom. You can just open this part here, and the child can tinkle through here, and it makes it easy for the parent and the child. It's a great product, and I cannot wait until it hits the market.
And thank you for being with us for this segment of Made in America. My guest is Sarah Adams. She is from the lovely, wonderful, and awesome lavender farm in Hawaii on the island of Maui. And we were very, very fortunate to be able to be there a couple of weeks ago and go in and meet Sarah and experience some of the wonderful products that they were selling and bring them home with us. So, I was very disappointed, Sarah, when they actually lost my suitcase, and it took a week for them to find it and get it delivered to me. And it was like, you don't get to lose my lavender stuff. So anyway, what are some of the things that, people can go online and buy? And then tell us, how is your outreach in the community? What else do you do for the locals in the community?
Of course. Yeah. So our website, I encourage everybody to take a look. You can not only order for yourself, but you can send as gifts to friends. So you can, plug in their information. You can order everything from our bath and body product line, which includes shampoos, conditioners, lotions, soaps, and oils. We have aromatherapy, so dried lavender. We have sachets. In fact, I think our sale currently is our lavender dryer bags, which is really pretty neat. Instead of, dryer sheet, which is chemicals, we have a sachet of lavender you can stick in your laundry to freshen up your linens and your towels. So that's one of our specials. Folks can sign up for our newsletter on the homepage of the website. So it'll show you of all of our different specials. We do 2 times a week, different discounts on all the items on the website. So it rotates. We have our culinary line, as we talked about. You can buy that scone mix to make lavender scones at home, jams and jellies and lavender honey and tea and coffee and all sorts of great stuff. So the website can also show you that we have opportunities on the farm. If you wanted to come and hold a special event here on the property. So we have available areas on the property for rentals for private site usage. So examples, of course, weddings. A lot of folks come up here and enjoy the beautiful backdrop. And we have a lovely gazebo up in the lavender fields where folks can use it not only for weddings, but any special occasions like birthday parties, bridal showers, baby showers, and even, business or corporate events, workshops. Folks come up here and utilize our space. And for other community events in the past, we've done things like hosted live music events here in the lavender fields, which was really great. We had some like sound healing and like yoga and other things. So that pops up every once in a while, depending on who we're collaborating with in the community, what's going on. We hope to offer more exciting hands-on experiences like that, like more crafting classes, more workshops, and more hoping to get more like of an in-depth tour happening again, because in the past, folks who might have been here do remember we had guided walking tours, but We had to pivot and change a little bit. We had a number of challenges. Everybody had, of course, challenges with the COVID-19 pandemic. Here in Hawaii, it was pretty severe of a shutdown, unfortunately. So that was, I would say, our biggest challenge is kind of coming back from that. Tourism was at basically a standstill, and even local traffic. We've had to encourage folks to come back, and we had all these like free events like the sound healing and the music and workshops and such like that. So we had to kind of redo our crops as well. We were closed actually for all of 2020, and we were almost out of business, but we were very thankful that we did not go out of business. And but returning and opening the farm up again, we had to basically replant all of our lavender. Unfortunately, we lost all the old crops to the grass and the weeds taking over. So we're kind of building up from the ground up again, replanting and redoing our gardens. So that's why I mentioned we had guided tours in the past, and we're working back up to that again as we are replanting and expanding our gardens. So we're kind of relooking at how we might do that differently. Maybe it's going to be more hands-on. Smaller is great. We're found it's much more comfortable with our sustainability and our workforce currently. Bigger is not always better. We were at a point where it was very busy before COVID. It was too busy, I would say. It was kind of getting crowded. We had big tour buses and tours and all this stuff going on, and it kind of took away from that authentic, quiet, peaceful experience. So we're kind of getting back to that, to be more just in tune with the land and peaceful. And yeah.
Well, I was going to say, hey, if you wanted to start, selling more to the mainland, you could join us at ASD Market. We can bring your product there. But then on the other hand, if you didn't want to have that much business, maybe not. But, if you wanted orders coming in from all over the country, that would be the place to join us. Get out there and sell those products and stuff. So I want to thank you so much for being with us. And if you want some information on that, Sarah, you just let me know and I'll email it to you, because holy cow, we'd love to have you. Show off and get that taste buds going out there for everybody. But, it's wonderful to have you. It's wonderful to be able to support Made in America. I especially enjoyed the fact that I was able to be there and try some of it, to meet you in person. And I can't wait until we're able to come back at some point. So if you guys, you're out there and you want to support Made in America, go to the website, Sarah.
AliKulaLavender.com or aklmaui.com.
And we will make sure that is on our website so that you can find it easily. Go out there, support Made in America. Go out there, support the islands, and buy all that. It doesn't matter if you are looking for things that smell good, things that taste good, or things that just support America. Made in America will be back next week. So tune in, everybody. See you then.
Hey, thank you so much.